You're listening to the Telltale channel. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, don't forget to check out my Patreon. You can find some ad-free, uncensored, complete versions of my videos on my website, owenmorgan.com. All links are in the description. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. Got an interesting show today. I'll tell you what, why don't I jump into it and explain what's going on? Hang on, let me just... God, I wish there was like a better quality image of this guy that I could show, but kind of hard to make him out here because this is kind of poor quality image for the moment. It'll get better. But this is Greg Locke. He's a pastor, an extremist nutcase, and some of the stuff he says is absolutely unhinged for real. Right now he's on a big deliverance kick with his church where he believes that he has the responsibility to exorcise demons from all of them. And it's just weird, man. It's just weird. So... recently, he got sued, as it turns out. He is being sued. Now, he's claimed to be sued a few times, and there's been no record of a lawsuit. I couldn't find it. I mean, I have people involved in the legal fields in my life that have access to various different platforms, and they looked around and couldn't find any evidence of it. But this time, we found the lawsuit before he did, before he talked about it. He's currently being sued by Wilson County, which is the county that he lives in. He's just outside city limits. So any, like, legal activity that has to be done against Locke has to be done by the county, apparently, since he's right outside legal limits like that. Now, I just so happen to have... give me a second here. See if I can pull it up. One moment, please. Just dragging this puppy over. Oh, shit. Okay, I just messed everything up. Oh, my God. Oh, God, I just caused a mess with my computer. Oh, boy, that's not good. Computer's not supposed to do that. Okay. Okay. I think I got it. No, didn't get it. Oh, my God. Okay, I think I got it fixed again, maybe. Oh, boy, this sucks. All right, you know what? I'm just going to pull up another thing here. Okay, we're just going to go to Greg Locke's church website again. All right, I think it was, oh shit, like I don't even know where it was. God, I just lost the whole thing. That really sucks. Sometimes there are like really weird little hiccups and stuff with... All right, so March 28th, March 26th. Okay, this should be the one, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I think this might be the one. Let's see. Sorry, a little bit loud. Let me turn this puppy down. Yeah, this looks like the correct one that I had pulled up just now. Let's see if this is what he's talking about.
Shout to the Lord this morning. Hallelujah.
Yeah, I think this is it. Okay, so this is the video where he talks about the lawsuit, to my knowledge. We're going to go through a little bit of it and see if we can get his take on the situation, because he's most definitely not happy about it. But I have a copy of the lawsuit here. So this is from Lord Falconis. Thank you so much for sending this to me. There's some really interesting stuff in here right now, but he's being sued by Wilson County, Tennessee. And from what I can tell, it's so hard to know for sure. I don't, like, read lawsuits very often, but I believe that he's being sued because he violated a stop work order. So a little while back, if you follow my channel, you'll know that the dude has been getting, like, noise complaints from neighbors because he's so obnoxiously loud when he does his sermons and stuff. And apparently there was a stop work order on his property. I don't know why, but he violated that to like construct a larger circus tent, which is what his church is. It's a big circus tent. He violated that to build a larger, like more structurally sound circus tent around the other one, and then tried to build inside of that without them knowing, so on and so forth. It's really, really interesting stuff. If you want a copy of the lawsuit, I'm going to be uploading it to owenmorgan.com/clips. It'll be in the latest folder there. In 2023-03-26. That's where it'll be if you want to find it. But anyway, I want to see what his response was to this, because he cannot be happy about this, to say the least. So let's listen to his sermon. This is his opener, and see what he says about it. Bound to be entertaining.
You may be seated if you can. You can run if you...
Oh, yeah, and I'm sorry, one more thing. While we watch, we are going to play some Breath of the Wild. So, yeah, let's listen. Play some Breath of the Wild.
You want to. Hallelujah. We had to get a little bit more worshipful this morning. We'll be back to some worship in a few minutes. Now, let me get everybody sitting down and get everybody set. I got to switch gears. It's a shame I got to waste Sunday morning to even talk about this nonsense.
Oh, boy.
But I am, and I'm going to take my time for a few minutes.
Please.
You good with that? So I'm going to, I'm not going to deal with the whole thing, but I'm going to contextually talk to you as your shepherd, as your pastor, and to the tens of thousands of people that are watching and will be watching online. They consider this their church.
Oh, my God. Just get to it. There's so much grandstanding with this dude 24/7. I don't know. This guy drives me nuts.
So I'm just going to let you get where you need to get. I got a few things I
I think everyone's there. Just tell us. Jesus.
need to say. And anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law in this case.
Okay, this is not a criminal trial. This is a lawsuit against him from Wilson County. They're two different things.
So I weigh my words with some gravitas this morning, okay? Now, of course, we're live streaming to the world, and people will go back and watch this on all of our streams. But from when I start, in just a moment, and tell the media people something. From when I start...
I guess that's me. I'm the media people, right? Or at least one of them.
In just a moment, make sure we get the clip good, because we're going to use this clip. This is the one and only press conference we're doing about this lawsuit foolishness.
I have to imagine basically everybody at his church has heard about it already. If you don't know this guy, he is a full-blown cult leader. Full-blown cult leader. Like, I don't feel like he always was, you know? Like, there's a point in time when he's just like an anti-LGBT scumbag preacher, and that's about as far as it went. But, yeah, he's a cult leader now, especially since he, like, got emotionally invested in this whole deliverance ministry where now he's basically trying to, like, exorcise demons from people and stuff. Full-blown cult leader now, really.
And we're doing it from this pulpit right here. So we got the news here. So you can quote me, but don't misquote me.
My God, just get to it, man.
If you misquote me, we'll countersue you too. I'm sick of people taking our church out of context when they don't know the first thing about our context.
Free speech, Greg Locke, right? Dude is so in favor of free speech that he's going to set out to silence others by suing them for what they say.
So if we're going to give you the privilege to bring cameras in this tent, you're going to say what I say, not what you want to say, all right? Not what Joe Biden tells you to say. You're going to say what Greg Locke...
What your Biden wants you to say. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? He thinks that Biden is, like, telling people what to say about Greg Locke. Like, Biden even knows who he is or cares.
Up in this tent tells you to say. You understand that? So don't misquote me.
He's such a victim.
You might as well live stream the whole thing. I ain't playing with these fools no more. We've opened our tent up to fake news media for a long time, and we've allowed them to come in here and eviscerate us.
Well, actually, any attention in Greg Locke's case is good attention. It's valuable to him. Even when he's being attacked on CNN, it's valuable to him. Like a while back, CNN did a piece on him about how he was refusing to hold online church services. Even though he does it already, he was refusing to do solely online throughout the course of the pandemic at any point, even for the first couple of months when it was genuinely dangerous and we had no idea how COVID would, like, act with people or how it would, like, work or what it was doing to people. He had no idea. And instead of just going to solely online, he's already set up for that, already does it normally. Instead of just switching to that, even for like a month, the dude went on CNN and talked about how persecuted he is because everyone wants him to shut down, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? Did that hurt him? No. No, it didn't. You know what happened, actually? The guy got more popular because all of the nutcases from here to Texas saw that and said, hey, that sounds like a church I'd be interested in. You know, all the people who are like anti-vax crazies who are obsessed with like hating Democrats and all that other stuff, they saw that on CNN. Any media is good for Greg Locke, basically. Now, not in my case, because I'm entirely too small to even affect the guy's growth. And there are no Trump supporters on here that are watching me that don't already know about Greg Locke anyways. But when it comes to like big media like CNN or, you know, any ABC, whoever else he's talking about here, it only helps him.
You quote me or you get out.
So tough and such a martyr, huh?
Now, we'll take 5 seconds to breathe. And that'll be as abrasive as I get.
Oh, that's a shame. I was really hoping for more abrasiveness.
All right, so the press conference has officially started right now. We've spent $50-some-odd thousand fighting Larry Cant.
Okay, Larry is his neighbor. If you don't have this context, I could be wrong. I think Larry might have sold the property to him originally, like 10, 15 years ago. I'm not even sure. Anyways, yeah, Larry's a neighbor, and they've had like an ongoing feud with each other. They don't like each other, apparently. Talks about him constantly in his sermons, which is not good. It has led to full-blown stochastic terrorism against this guy, really. People, driving by his house, honking their horns, looking in his windows, parking in his driveway, the whole thing. It's really, really bad. And it's a direct result of Greg Locke talking about him. So that's Larry. And Larry generally sounds to me like the dude just wants to be left alone and not have to worry about hearing Greg Locke screaming at all hours of the night. Like, seriously, the guy holds services all the way into, like, midnight sometimes. And Larry's like an older guy. Like, just leave the dude alone, you know?
With a lawsuit. Now, let me talk for a little bit before you give a lot of response one way or the other, because your response is not going to change this thing one way or the other. Okay, I'll tell you how I need you to respond in a few moments. Okay, that would be a blessing. So we've spent $50-some-odd thousand on a lawsuit that they cannot win.
They can. And when he says they, who's he talking about exactly? He referred to Larry, right? It's not Larry running this suit. It's Wilson County, as far as I can tell. Now, again, I don't, study lawsuits or read them or understand them fully or whatever, but as far as I can tell, it's Wilson County, not Larry. Larry has no part of this, to my knowledge. Now, somebody in the comments who understands the legal field better than me can look through the lawsuit if they want and tell me if that's right or wrong, but yeah.
It's just drained us of time, energy, and money. Okay? It's nonsense. It's foolishness. So now, as you know, and they should have kept it a little bit more under wraps because they didn't do themselves any favors with this. Wednesday night, before I knew what was going on, I said from the platform, hey, I'm not a prophet, but I prophesy to you that we're about to walk into some real persecution. That night,
Okay. There's no persecution to be had here. He's not walking into persecution. He's just completely full of it.
I got an email saying that Wilson County had sued us. Now, here's what you have to understand about these lawsuits. That lawsuit and the now a government facility suing our church, both lawsuits are against the church and individually against me as the leader of the church.
Oh, yeah, I forgot this. Check this out. I forgot to mention. Okay, so, oh, God, this is deep lore. So Greg Locke, famously a little while back, claimed to have given up tax-exempt status, okay? Now, did he? That's the question. I noticed that his business license with the state of Tennessee was dissolved. But I had no idea what his new business license was. I didn't know what his new business name was. If he dissolves a tax-exempt entity, fantastic. Except churches don't have to apply for tax exemption. They're just tax-exempt by default. You don't have to file anything to be a tax-exempt church. So I felt like I needed to see a new for-profit business license before I was comfortable saying this guy is not tax exempt. He did in fact give up tax exempt status. I saw the dissolved one. That doesn't mean that he's now paying, right? Well, one thing that this lawsuit has done for us is show us the name of the company. I didn't know the name of the company before, so now we can do a business search. And God, this is complicated. I'm not a lawyer. I don't understand how all of this works. But from what I can tell preliminarily, don't take my word for this, because again, I'm not sure, but I think that the guy dissolved the old company and then changed its name. So, like, he changed the name of the old company, and when he did that, the old one was dissolved. It showed as dissolved, but it just transferred it to the new one because this new name, Global Vision Bible Inc., was not the name of the previous one, but when I pull it up, it says it's tax exempt. So he is currently, I don't know if he's operating under this name or not. I have no idea. But this is the one that's being sued right now, and it is tax exempt. Now, there's a difference between state and federal. I don't know what's going on federally or anything. I have no idea. But preliminarily, it appears as though he straight up, bald-face, lied about being tax exempt. It seems that way to me, but time will tell. All right, so let's keep listening to what he had to say here. So much to talk about, dude. I'm going to have to break all of this down into a new video sometime soon.
Mail saying that Wilson County had sued us. Now, here's what you have to understand about these lawsuits. That lawsuit and the now a government facility suing our church, both lawsuits are against the church and individually against me as the leader of the church. So in actuality, you got 4 lawsuits going at one time. And so that's a legal nightmare to try to dismiss any of those, right? And
that's true. I mean, it's a legal nightmare one way or another, so.
We're going to end up winning all of them, I can promise.
No, almost certainly not. As far as I can tell, he did violate, some laws and some rules. So if that's true, if he did, he's probably going to lose, almost certainly.
We will win every one of them hands down. Constitutionally, they don't have a leg to stand on. We are going to win all of these lawsuits. And I hate that we even have to fight. It's nonsense. Let us have church. Dear God in heaven, just let us have church. If we'd have closed like the rest of these cowards did for COVID, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. If we would have been complicit during all this mask wearing 6 feet.
My God, he's such a victim 24/7. It has nothing to do with that, okay? He thinks it's the deep state that's like manipulating things from behind the scenes. He just lives in a fantasy land 24/7, dude.
Apart social we wouldn't be having this conversation right now, but we didn't close, and I'm not apologizing that we didn't close.
Okay, no one is asking for an apology for that, Greg. It's not all about that. Like, nobody gives a shit, okay? Just move on with your life and stop acting like a victim 24/7.
We wouldn't be having this conversation. But anyhow, so now the county is suing us and me. Now, I do not have time line by line to go through like all, 32, 33 different allegations they have.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I may end up going through like the whole lawsuit. We'll see. We'll see. But I definitely have the time to do that. I'll probably do like a highlights thing to kind of get an idea of like what the accusations are and stuff.
Have against us.
Yeah, if you want to keep a lookout for that, you don't want to miss it, just watch my website, and I'll put a video up there sometime soon, owenmorgan.com. I'll put a video up that explains what's happening and all that. Just watch that. I'll probably do it on my main channel. I'm not even sure, but yeah. Just watch my website, owenmorgan.com.
But I will say this, categorically, by way of our Global Vision Bible Church press conference. The first, 8 or 10 indictments, whatever you want to call them, allegations.
Indictments, he says. He called them indictments. He is such a victim, dude.
Are about a building that we have not met in over 3 years. You see, they're trying to build a pattern that we've not been in compliance. The only thing we've never been in compliance with is the fakeness of the COVID-19 pandemic, right? And I said fakeness because the news media is here.
As if anybody cares. Like, the guy is such a victim, it's ridiculous.
Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. I'm about to get fired up in this press conference right now.
Did this dude's voice just crack? Oh, I love it. I love it to death. All right, we have to listen to this guy's voice crack again. Hang on, let's just step back. What is he, like 13 going through puberty or something?
Pattern that we've not been in compliance. The only thing we've never been in compliance with is the fakeness of the COVID-19 pandemic, right? And I said fakeness because the news media is here. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. I'm about to get fired up in this press conference.
Oh, I love it, dude. The guy's voice cracked like a 13-year-old boy.
Conference right now. You better pray out, calm down. Honey, pray for me right now. I had to get fired up.
Dude, okay, I need to write some of these down because I do want to cover this in a main channel video soon and some other places. So hold up, let me write this down. This is at 3440. Greg Locke's voice cracks. Oh, this is good, dude. This is good. Oh, I love it. There's a go guy in the background. You could hear him. Dude's name's Patrick. Apparently, he lives in a van down by the river. No, he lives in a van on the property, apparently, supposedly. And he's gotten into some legal stuff with police there, and I don't even know.
Lawsuit said they're going to tear our buildings down, shut our church down. The gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Wilson County, Tennessee won't prevail against this church. I can promise you that right now.
Okay, and what if they do? What if they do prevail against you? What then? This sounds like a prophecy. He's saying, according to the Bible, the gates of hell, quote unquote, the Wilson County will not prevail against him. What if they do prevail? What if they do succeed in finding you massive amounts of money like is possible here? What then? Then he's going to pretend to be a victim and forget all about the fact that he just basically made a biblical prophecy, right?
They'll bring tanks and Cobra helicopters in this parking lot before they keep me from preaching with this microphone and filling this church up.
Dude, I thought he said he was going to be chill this whole time, do a press conference and not scream like a lunatic. What happened to that? By the by, somebody says he did the Dean Cain scream. That's interesting. I was just talking about that the other night. I think it's the Howard Dean scream. The Dean scream is what it's called. And yeah, that's a dated reference. It's really funny you mentioned that. Howard. Am I back? I think I'm back now. I don't know what's up with my internet. I think my internet is going out on me or whatever. But yeah, I think we're good. I'm good? Am I frozen? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Am I working okay? Everything good? I think it's all good now. Yeah, we're good. Okay. It would not surprise me at all that to get a copyright violation live. That used to happen from time. All right. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm reconnected now. Let me just check my Ethernet cord real quick. Hang on. Okay, my Ethernet cable is secure. If it's a problem again, maybe I'll disconnect from Wi-Fi, because I definitely have an internet connection. I don't know what's up with this. Maybe YouTube is going down right now? I don't know. Anyways, it seems to be okay. Just gotta fix my chair real quick. So, as I was saying, the Church of Scientology has actually, they hit me one time while I was live streaming and took the entire live stream down instantly. It just turned off just like that. Got a copyright strike. I mean, this is years and years ago, but yeah. So you never know. You never know. But anyway, this person is talking about the Dean Scream. I was talking about him. It was a perfect prime example of the media destroying somebody's reputation over nothing. Okay, Howard Dean was, I think, a Democratic candidate running in a primary, running against somebody. I don't know who. I think it was the 2000s, early, mid-2000s. Anyways, Howard Dean was really, really, really popular. Like, people loved the guy. He was like he was like Bernie Sanders, basically, right? And, you know, people didn't really like him. Like, the candidates were not a fan of the fact that he was, like, as popular as he was or whatever. So the media, basically, he's oh, my God, dude, I have to do this whole thing over again. You can't die a single time. I shouldn't have come in guns blazing that way. I should have been really careful and slow. Anyways, so Howard Dean says something like, we're going to go to the White House and we're not going to stop there. Yeah, like that. And the media took the yeah, and altered it and, like, turned it into, like, making it sound like his voice was cracking and stuff. And they got up there and they were like, this is a sign of psychosis. I've seen this and blah, blah, blah. And they analyzed it to death as though Howard Dean belonged in a mental institution. And yeah, they destroyed him. After that, his poll numbers cratered and he had no chance of coming back. That's how the media destroys people. It's pretty crooked sometimes, but that's neither here nor there. Now that the connection is working again, let's keep listening to Greg here.
Yeah. You see, that makes me nervous. Get out and go to some other church down the road then. We ain't shutting the doors of this church over a bunch of false allegations that we're not in compliance. Man, I prayed all morning.
He said false allegations are not in compliance? Well, they're not false allegations. And also, I mean, he wasn't in compliance with, like, COVID restrictions. And also, those restrictions are not in place anymore. Nobody cares if your church is open anymore. Like, what's he even talking about right now? He's such a victim 24/7, dude.
I wouldn't get... So they start with 8 or 10 allegations on a building we've not even met in since 2019, nearly. 2020 for sure. Which, by the way, we had a full-blown accepted site plan to expand that building.
Right. So, as I said earlier, the lawsuit is from Wilson County, and it is against Greg Locke for, I believe, building without a permit, among other things. And he had an old circus tent. Like, he holds all of his services in circus tents. And apparently, he switched circus tents. Like, they built a newer, bigger circus tent out on the property. And they moved to, like, the newer, bigger one. But it wasn't allowed, or I don't know exactly what the deal was. But he got in a lot of trouble for it. So that was pretty interesting.
So we decided not to do it, just to expand the lobby, because we needed a little extra space, a little lobby space. And so they came in. They said, well, your site plan has expired, and so, you know, you're unauthorized to make a 30-foot lobby when it was already like a 12.5, 15-foot lobby, right? We're just making...
Look, I'm sorry, man. You've got to have the proper permits for this stuff. You live in a residential neighborhood. Maybe I forgot to mention that. Dude lives in a residential neighborhood, residential. Okay, there are houses all over the place. This guy is drilling and sawing and making all kinds of obnoxious noise at all hours in a residential area. That's what the permits are for. You have to follow the law. You have to make sure you're not violating other people's rights. Your right to swing your fist ends at the tip of my nose. If you're violating my rights, my right to peace and privacy in my own home, you don't have that right to do that anymore. Because you're trampling on my rights now. You're not exercising yours. You're walking all over mine. That's the idea. That's the concept that this country was built upon. And that's why it's constitutional to have permitting and stuff like that. Because you're protecting other people's rights. He doesn't seem to get the concept that other people have rights. Everything is about him and his rights and his interests and what he wants to do. He flips it around and says, you know, when he punches somebody in the face, figuratively, he says, this person's hitting my fist with their face. Is somebody going to do something about this? That's conceptually how he views it. When in reality, it's the person who's being punched in the face who's actually losing their rights. Now, does he really not understand the difference? Or is he just making this up? Is he just trying to turn himself into a victim? It's so hard to know.
In the lobby bigger. So you've expired.
So he refuses to work with anybody and insists on drilling and sawing and being obnoxious anytime, right? Anytime he wants. And here's how he responds.
Came in, they said, well, your site plan has expired, and so, you know, you're unauthorized to make a 30-foot lobby when it was already like a 12 and a half, 15-foot lobby, right? We're just making the lobby bigger. So you've expired, so stop. So we stopped. That's why it's unfinished down there right now.
Good. Then you followed the rules, right? You followed the law. Perfect. Everyone's happy.
Since 2019, there's been a building down there sitting around looking like a crap fest to the community because they wouldn't let us do anything with it except put a roof on it so it doesn't waste the rest of the stuff. It's a storage containment unit. That's it.
Okay, fine. Great. If you don't like that, if you don't like those rules, move to a different spot where you are allowed to drill and saw and construct stuff without disturbing neighbors. Residential area, remember. Residential area.
And they want to fuss about a building that we've not been in 2019. But here's a little known fact to the church and to the county. That building has been nothing but a thorn in our flesh for years. It's nothing but full of Baptist demons.
Okay. That's because he used to be a Baptist church. I forgot about this. It used to be Global Vision Baptist Church, and he straight up stole the logo of some university. I forget what the name of the university was, but that's like back in the day. That's like, I don't know, 8 years ago or something. And he eventually moved on from Baptist and turned into whatever the hell he is now, some form of like evangelical nutcase who is obsessed with exorcising demons and stuff. And he thinks that like his history as a Baptist is like demonic. Okay, interesting.
It's full of denominational demons from years ago. So we got the whole thing already figured out, right? We're moving the kids up here because we want them closer to us anyhow because that's too far down there.
Moving the kids. Oh, does his son live on their property in his own house? That wouldn't surprise me.
So look, they didn't know this, but this was confirmation. I say this calmly from the Holy Spirit. They want to violate us, 10 violations on a building we don't meet in. Guess what?
They want to violate us. They're not violating you, Greg. Okay, you don't even know the meaning of the term.
Comes at the end of this week, a track hoe, because we're taking that building slap down to the ground and making a parking lot. We're going to tear the whole thing down because it's full of a bunch of religious demons.
Oh, okay. So basically what he's saying here is yeah, I know there's a stop work order on this property, and yeah, I know I just got sued for violating it, but I'm going to violate it even more. Okay, cool. Go ahead. I'm totally cool with that. That's perfectly fine. Get yourself in even more shit. I'm so down. I would love to see how this turns out for you, Greg. You know, part of me thinks that the guy knows that he's going to get himself in legal trouble doing this and end up in jail, and that's what he wants. You know, at the end of the day, every government action is backed by force. That's just kind of how it works, for better or worse. You don't, you get a speeding ticket, you refuse to pay it, you fight, you battle, and you continue doing what you're doing anyways, which is driving, you go to jail. You have to follow the rules or you go to jail. That's just what it is. We live in a civilized society. There have to be penalties for breaking the law. And Greg is describing here his decision to break the law and refuse to listen or cooperate or do anything at all. And the consequences for that are going to jail ultimately if he really follows this to its eventual end. I'm going to write this one down too. 3715. Greg is going to ignore the law. So, yeah, I mean, he's talked about this before where he has a plan for what his churchgoers should do when he's arrested, inevitably. He said, I'm going to be arrested. This world isn't going to stand for me. Blah, blah, blah. And when that happens, blah, blah, blah. This is what you're supposed to do. You know, step in, and he has a whole hierarchy that's supposed to take control of this thing and that thing when he's eventually arrested. He's planning this. He's planning to be arrested. And, you know, people just don't care what he does on his property is the bottom line. They simply do not care. And it seems like it's been a challenge for somebody to finally, like, actually bring real legal suit against him that has the real force of law if he violates it. I mean, he's been doing this for, like, years now. I get the impression the dude intends to try to get arrested.
So you can take the first 10 indictments off your list because we're having the...
They're not indictments, okay? They're just descriptions of what's happening from a legal perspective. He's such a victim, dude.
Electricity disconnected this week. We're just going to tear it slap to the ground. We need more parking anyhow. They're complaining about parking, so we'll tear that stupid building down and make more parking.
Wait, they disconnected the electricity last week? Yeah, that's one step that like the courts can do is they can like disconnect the electricity from the from like the property to prevent you from doing the work that you're not supposed to be doing anyways. That would be one step they take before, you know, going nuclear and sending you to jail or something.
Trying to force us to go back into a 285-seat wedding chapel. We'll just tear it down and meet in the parking lot. You come take the tent down. We've done it before.
Okay, nobody cares if you're meeting. That's not the issue. The issue is you violating stop work orders. He has to be the victim of every situation, even when he's not.
For 2 or 3 months. Now, I told you I was going to talk for a few. This is not preaching time. This ain't offering time. This ain't worship time. So I'm just talking a little bit. This is defend the work of God at 2060 Old Lebanon Road time. So they can fuss about that. That building's coming down. Bye, Felicia. We don't want that little thing no how.
Such a victim.
We attempt.
Oh, yeah, let me take a quick gander at Super Chats here. Just a few bucks to show a little support for what you do and how you go about doing it. Appreciate that, Kevin Barry. Thank you so much for the Super Chat. Enzo's library. Is Greg incapable of getting to the point? No, yeah, I think he is incapable of it, actually. Like, he just rambles on and on and on, never gets to it. It's ridiculous, dude. Great work, Owen. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Dharma Renee. Appreciate that. The gates of the netherworld won't prevail against it. A guy who denounces the papacy, which was sort of established with that very quote. Was it? I hadn't heard that. That's interesting. But yeah, Greg Locke doesn't understand irony or principle or hypocrisy. Doesn't know the meaning of the words, seemingly. It's just obnoxious. Chandler Slesiak, welcome. I'm listening to Change by Deftones right now. It's a great song. It is a great song. I love that song. That song and Passenger, dude. Oh, my God. Passenger is just an awesome song, for real. Deftones and Tool are a couple of fantastic bands. I was introduced to Deftones because Maynard James Keenan, the singer of Tool, was in the song Passenger by Deftones. They're just fantastic, dude. I love them to death, all of them. Oh man. Hit the spike. The state will violate Greg so hard, their ass whoopings are almost as hard as your mom's. Ouch, zing. I did not see that one coming. I read to the very last word, and I didn't see it coming. I appreciate the super chat, Real Pumpkin J.
In church. So, we take care of those first 8 or 10 indictments.
They're not indictments.
Then they want to fuss about we have no permit for land disturbance. 2 things about that. I tell you, I'm going to categorically, just follow me, right?
Got it. Okay, I'll follow you.
I gotta weigh my stuff well so these people know that this is nonsense, and this is why we have a countersuit. It's a shame we got to sue our county. But by the way, you think the first lawsuit was expensive? They're trying to bankrupt us.
Now, honestly, I really think that Greg was looking for this. I think he was hoping to find himself in a lawsuit against the county because he can use it as a point of persecution and maybe even eventual jail time, which is, in my opinion, his ultimate goal. That's what he's shooting for. That's what he wants. He wants to go to jail, in my opinion.
But it won't work. God's got more money than Wilson County does. He's got way more money than Wilson County does.
I.e., you have more money than Wilson County, and I expect you to put it in the donation bucket or plate or whatever the hell they use before you leave.
So there's 2 things about that. In Larry's lawsuit, he's fussing about the water runoff. Well, number one, we're a city set on a hill. Water does run downhill. You understand that?
Uh-huh, and you have to use, drainage pipes to make sure it's directed to the correct places so that it doesn't, drain into Larry's basement.
That's a fact. Secondarily, Larry is the one that came in and cleared for, I'll say free, we gave him a $75,000 tax write-off. News don't tell you about that.
News didn't tell me about any of this. I don't even know what he's talking about. He's such a victim.
We gave Larry Cant a $75,000 tax write-off. I
don't even know if this is true. You know, he claims all kinds of stuff all the time. He claims to have been tax-exempt this whole time, and I have serious questions about that. He lies for a living. There have been a number of lawsuits that he claimed were filed against him that weren't. It was just made up entirely. You can't trust a word out of the dude's mouth, not one. He's practicing, I think, in my opinion, he's practicing what's called spiritual warfare or theocratic warfare, which justifies lying, cheating, manipulating, stealing in the name of God. If you're doing it to further God's goals, it's okay. You're allowed to lie, cheat, and steal in that specific case. So I think that's probably what's happening here the majority of the time. So be very wary of anything he says.
And cleared for, I'll say free, we gave him a $75,000 tax write-off. News don't tell you about that. We gave Larry Kent a $75,000 tax write-off. I have it in my files.
Then why didn't you bring it here? Show us. Let's see it. Why is it in your files? If you want people to believe a word out of your mouth, you got to give us evidence. And again, the dude came out here with a stack of papers one time not too long ago, claiming there was a lawsuit filed against him when there wasn't, waving these papers around as though it was a lawsuit. Really. He's completely full of it 99% of the time.
To take down 5 or 6 acres to make more parking. And then all of a sudden, when we didn't close for COVID, he said, oh, you're going to be my mortal enemy, and I'm going to do everything I can to shut you down. And him and his Masonic Lodge buddies have done just that, but it's not going to work.
Right. This is such a believable story. Some random guy, some neighbor comes to you and says, I'm going to be your mortal enemy because you didn't shut down during COVID. Absolutely. That checks out. What a ridiculous thing to even say to somebody, right? And of course, there's no evidence for it. We got to take Greg Locke's word for it, right?
And I promise you one thing, the judge that accepts this, which is, it won't be a Wilson County judge, because not one Wilson County judge accepted Larry's lawsuit, not one Wilson County lawyer accepted Larry's lawsuit. He had to go to Rutherford County for some half-baked lawyer, and then he had to go all the way to Cookeville to find a judge that would not recuse herself.
Okay, I don't understand the context here, but if it's outside of the jurisdiction, then the judge isn't, like, allowed to take it, to my knowledge. Sorry. It has to be a judge within the jurisdiction that they're dealing with. Like, you can't go to Wisconsin and ask a Wisconsin judge to adjudicate a matter that's taking place in New York City. That's just not how anything works.
But I can promise you, the judge in question will not be involved in the Masonic Lodge one bit, because they're...
Dude, he is obsessed with the idea that the Masonic Lodge has it out for him or something. It's just insane. It's like a fever dream. Let me write this one down. 3945. The Masonic Lodge is in bed with Larry, figuratively. I assume. I mean, I don't know what Larry's up to. It could be literally. Is there even a Masonic Lodge nearby? Who knows?
Secret handshake, bumper sticker, fish fry nonsense is not going to force us to close. They just mad because I stirred up all their Masonic Lodge devils.
Dude, I love the weird, like, I don't know, dog whistle call-outs that he's doing. Fish fry something. What is he talking about? Fish fry what? Like, these are things that mean absolutely nothing to anybody except for Greg and maybe his congregation. He thinks he's got, like, a bead on, like, the deep state or something. It's all just completely made up.
And I'll keep stirring them demons up. So, he cleared it to start with. Secondarily, let me tell you what's interesting.
Please, tell me.
They tell us that we don't have a land disturbance permit. Here's what they don't tell you. We went to get one 2 times.
You hear the woman in the background, come on, tell the truth. It sounds like Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's probably his wife. They have a disturbingly similar voice to each other, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Ty Locke.
Focus on in, Fox News. We went to get one twice. The first time, they just dismissed it and said, you don't need one, until they came back and said, oh, yeah, you do need one. So when Greg Borchers was working for the church.
Greg Borchers was his head of security. I didn't know he was fired. That's interesting. Wow. He was terrible in every way. Nobody liked the guy. They called him Hulk Hogan, and he was responsible for, like, a bunch of really crooked stuff that happened in the church. There was a witch hunt a while back where Greg Locke accused a bunch of people of being witches, and Greg Borchers, like, kicked them out, and it just got ugly, dude. It just straight up got ugly. So, yeah, I mean, just look up, like, Greg Locke witch hunt on owenmorgan.com if you want in the search bar, and it should pop some of that up.
He went down there.
Sorry, let me step back so we have the context.
We went to get one twice. The first time, they just dismissed it and said, you don't need one, until they came back and said, oh, yeah, you do need one. So
that just sounds like bureaucracy. Like, sometimes they say you don't when you actually do.
When Greg Borchers was working for the church, he went down there. And the lady said, and I quote, oh, look, Mr. Borchers, you represent the church. As long as you only clear it 1 acre at a time, you don't have to have a permit. So just clear an acre, wait, clear an acre, wait, clear an acre, wait. So the county...
I don't know if that's true or not. And also, don't trust bureaucrats. Get a lawyer to tell you exactly what they know about this, to actually do research on this stuff, because the bureaucrats in government don't always know either. And if she's giving you a little loophole that she thinks might work, talk to a lawyer about it anyways. Make sure that that's actually in the legal statutes, because people like this have no idea what they're talking about the majority of the time. They're not lawyers. You've got to talk to lawyers about this. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse to violate it, usually.
He told us how to get around the county, and now the county wants to sue us for supposedly going around the county.
Okay, the county didn't tell him how to get around it. Some rando at the office gave him a legal loophole that would allow him to skirt around the law, and apparently that legal loophole didn't work out. Like, he thinks he's making himself look good here. He's not.
Right? Plus, it's private property. We can really tear down some trees and burn some stuff if we want to. The real issue is we stir up demons and we burn witchcraft.
Dude is obsessed with, like, witches. He believes that there are witches around every corner, seriously. And this is the problem. You know, this is where the term witch hunt came from in the first place. Witches aren't real, okay? I'll tell you this up front. Witches aren't real. You know, I'm talking witches that are, like, secretive and hiding in the shadows and waiting to, like, abduct your kids and do spells on them. That's not real. That's fabricated, fear-mongering nonsense in the heads of nutcases who are gullible enough to believe it. And that happened, you know, in the, I guess the 1000s all the way through to the 1900s, really. There were, like, witch hunts all the time. People being burned at the stake. There's even a rule. If you throw this woman in a river and she floats, she's a witch. If she sinks, she's a human. Well, guess what? No matter what, she dies. If she comes up for air, she's killed by you for being a witch. If she drowns, well, it turns out we made a mistake, but whatever. The witches could be around any corner, so we'll just keep looking. The problem with witch hunts like this is that you start seeing them everywhere. You see them around every corner. You start believing that everything that you notice, every little thing, is a witch. You know, your keys are sitting on your desk when you thought you hung them up after you got home. A witch moved them when you weren't paying attention. Greg Locke is in that mindset now, where he believes that witches are around every corner trying to get him.
So that's interesting that they try to get us on that. Then they want to go with the stormwater stuff. They say, well, you know, he's causing flooding to the road.
Sounds like he's a terrible neighbor, right?
Watch this. Holy Ghost of God. If the next words that come out of my mouth are lying, ill-intentioned, misinformed, kill me on live camera in front of everybody in this room.
He's actually done this before, and it was a blatant, flat-out lie. I'll show you, actually. He lied on camera, live, after saying that once before. Let's see if I can give you the context for this one. Hold on. See if I can. I gotta find the. Gotta find the clip first. Here it is, right here. Okay, this is from October 26, 2022. Greg Locke, here's the context. He claims that the Masonic Lodge was out to get him, that they were, like, practicing this stuff or whatever, and they contacted him through email. Now, first of all, the person he claims contacted him through email, I forget the guy's name now. God, what was the name? It was the name on, hang on. It was Arch Stanton is the name that he gave, okay? He says that an Arch Stanton from the Masonic Lodge nearby sent him an email. And this email basically said that if he didn't, or if he held this book burning that he intended to hold on this night, then he was going to get the Catholic diocese and all of the Freemasons in the tri-state area and everywhere, and he's going to bring them all to Greg Locke's property, and he's going to force him to stop burning books on, on the, January 1st, New Year's night. That was the claim. Now, first of all, why would anybody claim that? That's ridiculous and stupid and dangerous. And second, that's not even a real name. Arch Stanton was the name from a movie. It was in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It was the name on the grave at the end of the movie. And third, there's no Arch Stanton listed on the member rolls of the nearby lodge. No, nothing. Okay, so here's where Greg Locke, straight up bald-face, lied. He claims that Arch Stanton wrote this email to him. And as it turns out, he's walking on stage reading the email, and right in the middle of it he says, the Masonic Lodge nearby deleted the email off of his phone while he was reading it. Deleted it from his sent folder, his received folder, deleted it entirely from the cache, everything. While he was reading it, it was deleted. I know that he's lying about that for a variety of reasons. First of all, that's not how email works. That's not how iPhones work. That's not anybody's name from that lodge. It was like every step of the way was a lie. And he said, may God strike me down right on this stage if I'm lying. They deleted the email right off of my phone while I was reading it. Bald-faced lie.
So when those, but
God, I can't find it. Hang on. It wasn't this one. It was another. This. I think this is the one. Maybe. No, I'm sorry. No, it was this one for sure. Yeah, this is the video. Okay. Watch this.
he takes the next whole paragraph to tell me that it's a malicious fine for burning if we don't get a burn permit. We've already got all that covered. Okay, we don't care about your fines. We'll take an offer and pay your stupid fine. Here we go. I strongly counsel you
Again, this whole email was made up. It was not even from a real person.
All right, let me get back to it here. All right, if I'm lying, I'm dying. God strike me dead right now if I'm lying. Honey, come here and tell me I ain't crazy.
He was lying.
I'm telling you, God's untrue. God strike me dead right now if I'm exasperating the truth.
See?
I'm reading the email, and it is gone. I'm talking about right now. And I want to read the whole thing because I'm pissed poor mad about it. Yeah, I said piss. I'm real mad about it now. That thing better jump back up here in a few minutes, and me and the Mason Lodge going to have a time, praise God.
He claimed the Freemasons deleted it right off of his phone while he was reading it. Really?
I'm telling you right now, it's gone. Right now while I'm reading it to you. Let me find where I responded. Maybe I can find it in my responses, because I did respond, praise God.
Maybe the Masons deleted it from his inbox, but not his outbox.
You have got to be kidding me.
I guess they used their witchcraft to do it, right?
I ain't never in my life.
For what it's like, he just goes on to tell you roughly what it said after all. For what it's worth, I was in software engineering for 6 years before I did YouTube. I managed servers, including email servers. In fact, I manage servers right now. I wrote code that did, all kinds of stuff. Like, I worked in the financial industry, worked for banks and other financial institutions for years. I know exactly every detail of how an email server works. I could probably write one myself if I really sat down and had the time and resources and energy to do it. He's lying. He's lying here. He just told a flat-out, blatant, bald-faced lie to the audience and said, "May God strike me down if I'm lying." So, I'm sorry, again, like, this is a good example. He's using theocratic warfare to convince the people around him that he's telling the truth because it's in service to God. So God will forgive him if he lies and uses God's name to convince other people that he's real. This kind of ends justify the means mentality leads to complete psychosis every time.
Think I'm playing.
So let me step back. Listen again. Oh, actually, let me write this one down. 4136. Hold up. May God strike me down if I'm lying. Yeah.
The stormwater stuff. They say, well, he's causing flooding to the road. Watch this. Holy Ghost of God. If the next words that come out of my mouth are lying, ill-intentioned, misinformed, kill me on live camera in front of everybody in this room. Think I'm playing.
Yeah, I just gave you an example of him lying and saying these exact words. I'm sorry. He's just full of it.
You know why the road floods?
Dude, if you're a Christian, you should be fucking disgusted by what he just said. He is using God's name to manipulate people into believing that he is telling the truth when he's not. Like, that is so many levels of messed up.
Misinformed. Kill me on live camera in front of everybody in this room. Think I'm playing. You know why the road floods? Because Larry, oh no, it's deeper than that. Yo, don't get me no more fired up than I already am.
What he's about to say is a lie.
Because Larry built that wall over there, and then on his side, you know what he did? He gummed up the drainage ditch on his side so that the water floods through on our side, floods the road 3 foot deep. He goes out, takes pictures and videos, sends it to Tom Brashear and the codes enforcement, and says, look what Greg Locke and Global Vision's doing to flood the road when we've never flooded it one time. There's a little creek right down there that floods almost every time it rains, and that has nothing to do with Global Vision. We spent $27,000 to put in curbing out here that we never had to put in.
Like, why doesn't the dude just move? He's got the money to move. I think he's using a circus tent right now because building on that property would be illegal for one reason or another. Why doesn't he just take his millions, tens of millions of dollars and move? Really? I don't get it. Why does he want to fight this battle, if not to act like a victim? It's nonsensical. The guy is risking going to jail by, well, it seems like he's intentionally setting out to go to jail by refusing to, like, just follow the local ordinances or anything. And he's in a residential neighborhood. Why? Move to another area. You know why? In my opinion? Because he wants to go to jail. It seems to me like he's set out to do everything he could to land himself in jail so that he gets richer, so that he builds his reputation and makes himself out to be an even bigger martyr. Same reason why Donald Trump apparently wants to be arrested, wants that image of him being hauled away in cuffs, because it would be a powerful image for fascists and extremists to see their leader carried away in cuffs. Same reason why cult leaders love to be arrested. They love it because it locks people into their beliefs even deeper, and you have a believer for life. until the day they die, they will be donators to your church. That's why. That's why he does things like this. Anyway, I'm going to call it there. If you want to see more of this, check my website, owenmorgan.com. I probably uploaded it there, but I will be doing a live stream of the rest of this video tomorrow morning. Wednesday and Thursday mornings, I stream on my Unfiltered channel, 10:30 a.m. I'll be streaming there. So check it out. And again, if you missed the live stream, just check my website, owenmorgan.com, okay? Let's see. Anyone else think that the events here in Nashville plays into the right-wing narrative? Oh, my God. This button keeps clicking. It's driving me nuts. The right-wing narrative a little too well. A trans person attacks a Christian school. Yeah. I heard about that, too. It doesn't really play into a narrative. Out of 3,000 or so mass attacks that have been happening, I'm only going to touch on this for a second because I'm probably going to do a longer form video about it eventually, but there was an attack in Nashville, Tennessee recently where it was a trans person who attacked a school. And, of course, the reason this happened is because guns are so widely available. That's the simple answer. We need to reduce how many guns are floating around. But, you know, right-wing extremists took the opportunity to attack the trans community, of course, because that's what they do. They attack the trans community as much as humanly possible, and they've hyper-focused on that situation. They've focused in on the fact that the person was trans, even though out of 3,000 or so attacks, only 3 or 4 were trans, I think. That is not a pattern by any stretch of the imagination. But you know what? Anything that they can do to redirect away from the fact that there are too many guns in the country, they'll redirect. And it's getting disturbing now. Of course, it's been getting disturbing, the rhetoric. DD Hammer, thank you for the membership. I appreciate that. Keegan Wall, they all think they're heroes. It's hilarious. What a fantasy they live in. Oh, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. They most definitely live in a fantasy land, and it's bizarre. Straight up bizarre. DJ Sanborn, thank you so much for the sticker. I appreciate it. All right, I'll tell you what, guys. I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you coming hanging out with me. Again, I hope to see you on my Telltale Unfiltered YouTube channel tomorrow morning. If you missed it, check my website. It'll be uploaded there first, okay? All right, thank you guys for coming, and I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow morning. If not, I'll see you next week. That's all I've got for you. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, don't forget to check me out on Patreon. And take a look at my YouTube channels. Owen Morgan, where I talk about religious issues. Telltale Fireside Chat, where I talk about politics. Telltale Unfiltered, where I do long-form breakdowns of stuff like this. And Telltale Reads, where I read books by televangelists and others. I release everything in parts, but every part stands independently of the last. So you can jump in anywhere, and I'll make sure it makes sense. You can find some ad-free, uncensored, complete versions of all my videos on my website, owenmorgan.com. And while you're there, don't forget to sign up for my email list to get early access to everything. All links are in the description. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.